See what we got in this one. Ooh, that's pretty. Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. We're in my not quite completed shop down here. Actually, there's nothing complete. I got stuff all over the place. ToAuto reached out to me. They make an 8-inch and a 6-inch new model of a lapidary saw, and they wanted me to test out the 8-inch. So they sent me the saw, and they sent me an accessory that goes on the saw. And we're going to open up all this stuff here, take a look at it, see what's all inside the box, and then we're going to set it up. We're going to start cutting some rocks. So let's do some opening some boxes. So this one here, we won't open this one right away. Let's open this one here. Make sure I keep my fingers out of the way. We don't want no accidents here. Nice thick box. And got a piece of cardboard here. Got a box Auto Smart Terminal Controller. ToAuto accessory information. And ToAuto, let's see, I don't know, there's stuff in this box. It just says ToAuto accessory information. And that's it. That's all that's left in there, and some instructions. All right, I'm gonna have to shut the camera off because this thing is heavy. It weighs about 44 pounds, so just stand by for a minute here. All right, here's saw, and we're gonna open up the accessory. That thing's heavy. All right, let's open up this box, see what's inside of it. Taped shut. So box number one, we have terry cloth, some safety goggles, oh, some dust masks, and an apron. So here's your protection equipment right there. Let's see, this one here, we have some tubing, zip ties, Teflon tape, a brush, and some tools. Some more tubing, electrical cord, and a splash guard. And this one here is the smart controller and a USB-C cable. So it looks like you get quite a kit with this. All the necessary stuff to cut rock safely and efficiently. So I'm going to open up the saw and see if we can find some blades for this thing. So the saw is wrapped up very nicely here. Unwrap the protection of the tape. Yeah, they wrapped it up really nice. All right, there we go. 8-inch ToAuto Trim Saw. This thing is stout. Plastic, stainless steel cutting tray. Got a nice guard here. E-switch, on-off button on the side. Here, I'll move the saw so you can see this. So we got an E-stop, on-off switch. Got a 10 amp breaker, and this is where you plug your power in here. And let's see if we can take the lid off to get into the good stuff here. Okay, this here is almost 1/4 inch thick, well, 3/16 at least stainless steel. This thing is stout. A little hard to get off. It's got a gasket around the edge here, but I think you can figure it out. Move this saw back a little bit. See what we got going here. Yeah, they wrap these up pretty good. All right, so we got several saw blades here. So with this one here, I got two continuous rim, or I got a continuous rim sintered, and I got a bunch of like notched rims here. Now supposedly you can cut metal with this. I'll have to look and see what's what here. And then there's another blade here. We got another continuous rim sintered diamond blade. So we got two of those, and that one there. I don't know how thick this is. Looks like I'll have to get my calipers and measure this. Yeah, they look good. 200 millimeter by 25 millimeter. Yeah, they're both the same size. All right, you got a bag of hoses and fittings. There's some spare screws in here, hardware. I need the Teflon tape and a brush for cleaning the deck, and some Teflon tape, and some tools. We get all the fittings together for putting the drain tube in there. Teflon tape. A lot of Teflon tape. Put the hose on, with zip tie on it. Like that. And we got another hose here. More zip ties. This is your overflow, the top one. Nice rubber hose, no kinks or nothing in it. A little Teflon tape on this one. Trim this off. Quit bumping the camera. I'm really good at that. Okay. Could probably put more of these on, but for just a demonstration purpose, I'm just going to do two of them. Make sure you close your valve here. All right, got that done. I'm going to flip this around and we'll get the blade on. So we're going to put the blade on. So they basically give you one wrench here, but you need something to stick in the hole here so you can unloosen it. So I just grabbed a hex wrench. I'm going to stick it in there. And yeah, that worked pretty good. Now, the only thing I'm seeing right now that I don't like is you can't use somebody else's blades on here unless it's that size. So I'm hopeful that the blade fits on there. The blade that comes with it will cut really good. There it is. So sometimes they got a directional arrow on them, at least the ones I've been buying lately. And I'm not seeing one on here. So it just kind of goes on there like so. Nice fit. And that goes on there like so. And get your little screw in there. And they gave you a couple extra of these screws here. So if you lose one, you shouldn't have to stop production. And stick that in there like so. And just tighten her up like that. Now we're all set. Drain hole and overflow hole here. So I'm going to add some water here. It's kind of cool because it's all plastic on the inside here, so it won't rust or anything. They got a nice protection for the electrical compartment in here, so water won't get in there like some other trim saws I've owned. So let's add some water to it. I usually go an 1/8 inch to 3/16 above the blade here. Let's see if we got enough water here. That's about it, right there. Checking for leaks on the back side. I don't see any. Now we're gonna put this big old plate back on here. About like that. About like that. There we go. Thing's big, solid. Kind of slips down in there. It's got a gasket all the way around. And you got your blade here. And then, God, I keep bumping the camera here. This is kind of neat. It's got an actual light in here so you can kind of see what you're doing so you're not in the dark all the time. And then I kind of like the way the splash guard kind of goes around like that instead of just in line with it. So hopefully it'll keep most of the water in the blade here. So I'm going to plug it in, and then we're going to get it ready to cut here. So this is the left hand side of the machine. If you're standing there cutting, you got 120 volt input for the United States. I think other countries you can get 240 volt 50 hertz or whatever. This is 120 volt 60 hertz. A 10 amp circuit breaker, emergency stop button, and an on-off switch. So we'll plug in our power cable here, turn breaker on. The emergency stop switch has got little arrows on it. To engage that, you got to turn it in the direction of the arrows and it'll pop out, just like that. So if you got to e-stop it, you just push it in, it'll pop in. So let's turn the power on. Now the light comes on the deck and the green light comes on here. So now we got our controller. Let's hook that up. So it'll go into the back connector right here, like so. And then it'll go into this connector that says ITCCI. It's in the manual here. The other one's a port. This port here is for downloading updates. Like that. And we'll turn this on. It'll beep. Little presentation. So now you got your RPM gauge. You got your RPM readout. You got your pause. And I can't remember what the D one was. And then that tells you if you got power to the unit, the control unit, and that's if your fan's running. At least I think that's what it's all in the manual here. Should have read the manual first, eh? Yeah. All right. So this is standard, and you get it's 10 RPM between adjustments. And this is fine, and it's 5 RPM between adjustments. And that is pause, and that is unpause, I guess. We'll have to try that out. So to get this going here, I want to go to 1750. Just start turning this knob to the right. Right there, 1750. They recommend not to go over 3,500, although this thing will go to 5,000, but you shouldn't go that high anyways. So this is the pause. And if you got it set the way you want, if you come back, you hit this arrow right here, it'll take off at 1750. So there's another way of doing it without doing this here and turning it all the way down and turn it off like that. And that's the controller. All right, I got the saw set up. I got a blade on there, I got water in there. You can see I've been running it now. We're gonna cut some rocks with it. So, I'm gonna turn on our saw. Now you'll hear a fan come on, you see a light come on. And push the start button here, and then your screen will come on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it for 1750. So we just turn it on here. You can see the RPM starting to go up. And then you can hit fine, and then it'll go in increments of 50. And that's where I'm going to cut right there. So first up, got a Montana agate, and they are hard, and this will be the first rock cut on this saw for me. All right, first rock on the ToAuto 8-inch saw. Let's see what we got. Ooh, waterline. Nice smooth cut. Pretty. And I'm going to do another Montana agate. We're going to cut this one right here. I think I'm going to split it down the middle. All right, let's see what we got. These rocks are really hard, so it takes a few minutes to cut through these. Ooh, a little spotty there. Okay. I got a couple calendria agates here. Put this one here. I'm just going to split it right down the middle. Let's see what we got in this one. Ooh, that's pretty. All right. Another one here, calendria agate. I'm going to just split it lengthwise. What we got hiding in this one? Ooh, oh, it's a geode pocket. Got some druzy in there. You can see that. Okay. Now I got a couple Great Lakes rocks here that I picked up. This is a piece of jasper, alkylated jasper. We're gonna split this just like that. I'm not getting too much blowout at the ends too. I'm kind of liking that. Look at that one. Got a little hematite in there. Okay, got this piece of porphyry. Let's cut this in half. Wow, there's a little spike of epitote right there. That'd be kind of cool cab, maybe. Got this piece of amygdaloidal here. Let's cut this one. See what this cut looks like. Okay, kind of cool. All right, the last one here. Now this saw blade will cut 2.5 inches, and I think we're good. Let's split this one in half. That was all right. Let's see what we got. Looks like a chocolate chip cookie. All right, I'm gonna shut this off, clean up a little bit, and we'll talk about some specifics on this. So let's remove the splash guard and talk about this saw a little bit. So the whole saw here is 17, a little over 17 by 17 by about 11 3/4. So yeah. The weight of this saw is about 44 pounds. The speed from 0 to 5,000, but they'd recommend you don't go over 3,500. If you go over that, something bad could happen. Power draws about 3 amps under load. Cutting depth on this blade here, this is an 8-inch, and I can get about a 2.5-inch rock. Now you got to remember that the diamond encrusted portion of this saw here is going to wear out, so that'll decrease your cutting depth, which isn't too bad for 8-inch, 2.5 inches. That's not bad. Cutting area, you know, it's what do we got? About 10.5 by 15.5. That's plenty big for 8-inch saw. And like I mentioned earlier, the voltage is USA is 120/60 hertz, and overseas, some countries they got a 230 volt 50 hertz. And that fits right here like that. And then what's kind of cool is they got this light here. You can't see it in the camera, but it kind of lights the surface. And then I like this shield in the back because on my bigger machine here, it splatters water all behind it. Well, this will kind of keep it contained. I like the deck. It's real thick, 3/16 stainless steel. You can't beat that. A little hard to get in and out of there, but you can use a tool or something to pry it out. You'll figure it out. Like I said, the splash guard comes in and out like this. And when I cut the rocks, I had a little bit of water on the side here, nothing over here at all. So my other saw, it splatters everywhere. I got to put a wrap plastic around it to keep it from splattering on the walls. I mean, it does a great job, but a little bit on the messy side. This thing here seems like it might be pretty neat. So they got this model in a 6-inch, and this is the 8-inch I got here. And you saw it cuts rocks okay, and everything of that. It had the Smart Inch controller, or the 4-inch CD or LCD control panel, which is kind of cool. It's all enclosed, wet system. Like I said, it don't splatter all over the place like my other saw does. Got side mount emergency stop, and it's built good. There's no wiggly loose parts on this thing at all. It's heavy, so when you're pushing a heavy rock through this thing, you're not going to slide the saw across the table if you put a little pressure on it. The only con I have with this is it would be nice to have a blade mount where you can mount other people's blades on there, 5/8 inch, stuff like that, not just whatever they give you with this saw here. That would be one improvement I'd like to see. And they got a vise for this. Actually, I should open that up and we'll take a look at it. I didn't plan on using the vise on this machine at all. All I want to do on this is cut rocks in half and trim out cabochons for my cabbing machine over there. That's the only reason I would use this. I don't want to do any precision slabbing or anything like that. I got a slab saw behind me that can do all that for me, and it is built just for that. So I'm going to push this back here, and then we're going to take a look at the adjustable cutting mechanism here. So let's see what we got going in this box. I can tell you one thing, they package this stuff very well from what I've been seeing here so far. So there is a assisted cutting mechanism right here, which mounts on the bed of the saw. You can go in here and take a look at it. Like I said, nicely packaged. A little assembly required. And there's the mechanism right there. So I don't know if this comes with the saw or this is an extra add-on you got to purchase yourself. But like I said, I did not plan on using this at all. I really don't need it, and just want to show you what we got here. I'm going to take this out of the box and get it dirty. Supposedly you can pinch stuff in here. Slides on these rails here, mounts to the plate, but I don't need it. Nicely wrapped though. I'm really impressed with that. Well, I hope you got something out of this demo I did on this machine here. It's probably not the most finely tuned demo you ever seen. I mean, there's some other demos out there. As a matter of fact, I watched 3 videos on this before I accepted from ToAuto to demonstrate this machine. 2 of them are fairly good representations of this machine. One, not so much. They found a lot of issues that to me were really non-issues, but everybody's entitled to their opinion on whatever. At the end of the day, all this is a machine to cut rocks in half or trim cabs. Nothing special about it. It works just like all the other ones. It has a DC motor instead of an AC motor, but it still turns a blade and it still cuts rocks. I'm just trying to give you some information and let you see what it looks like, how it cuts and everything. And then you folks out there, you make up your mind what machine you want to get. Now I understand they're going to run a promotion for this in July, and I think you can get up to 35% off of whatever they're going to charge us for machine here. And I'll put that link down below in the description. I will also put down below in the description the 3 videos I watched, so you can watch those too and you know, maybe get an opinion or no opinion on this machine. I like it. Every machine you buy is going to have some kind of issue, but there's nothing I can pick apart on this thing that, you know, I'm gonna tell you don't go out and buy it, you know, because it works. It cuts rocks. You saw it cut rocks. It cut rocks, and I'm quite happy with it. And you'll probably be seeing this machine more in future videos that I make. So I'd like to thank ToAuto for sending this machine over to give me a chance to demo to it, everybody out there. And as usual, if you got any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. I guess that's all I got, and I'll catch you later.